This afternoon, I'm very, very excited to introduce to you a gentleman that I have seen quite often. He's kind of a mover and a shaker. He's a field representative for Congressman Mark DeSaulnier's office. And Ryan, you're going to come up here if you would. Ryan is I don't want to say ex, I want to say retired Marine. Just a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So Ryan and I were talking at one of Congressman DeSaulnier's meetings, and we got to talking, and I said, hey, Ryan, how would you like to come and be my guest speaker and enlighten our Pearl Harbor survivors and other veterans in the room as to what they're entitled to once they've been discharged? So, thank you.
Of course. I believe it's afternoon now, so good afternoon to all of you. Thank you all very much for having me here. It is an honor to be here with the sons and daughters of Pearl Harbor survivors and the Pearl Harbor survivors themselves. That I've had the honor to hear their stories many times. It's been wonderful. So I was asked to kind of discuss two major topics, and then I'll just kind of give a brief overview about what our office can do. The first one is the DD-214s. So how many of you in the room that are veterans still have your DD-214? So that leaves a good portion of people that don't have their DD-214s. The discharge paperwork. I'll talk. Is that better? Okay. I'm usually not told that I'm quiet, so this is. Yes, sir.
He hasn't even started yet, and you're working.
We're talking about DD-214. I know I have one, but I can't find it. Can it be replaced?
Yes, it can.
$70.
Or
140.
or for free through our office. So if you, that's the next part that I was going to get into. So if you do not have your DD-214, and obviously you want to have your DD-214, I have multiple copies with my aunt, my grandmother, uploaded to the cloud, hard copies in the safe. It's like a blanket that keeps me warm at night. So if you don't have that, it kind of puts a damper on what you're able to do when it comes to the benefits that you're entitled to. You're not necessarily able to apply for anything that the VA has to offer or any of these other discounts or anything along the lines that occur throughout the civilian world as well, unless you have a DD-214 that verifies that you served. Yes, sir.
I was going to say real quick, once you get it, take it down and put it in City Hall of Records.
Yep.
And then anytime you need to go get another one, they give you a copy.
Yep. They'll give you a certified copy. When you file as well, if you file through the County Veteran Service Office over in Contra Costa County, they keep that on file as well, and you can just walk in and get a copy of it as well. Sorry, you had a question, sir?
If you don't have a DD-214, you have a certificate of honorable discharge. Would that work?
So a certificate of honorable discharge, it does show that you served honorably, but they do have to have the actual DD-214. The only time that there's an exception to that is if your records were included in the fire that occurred. There was a fire in the records center that burned a decent portion of records. Unfortunately, a lot of Navy records. I know that's the wrong crowd to say that to. But they provide you with something that's in lieu of a DD-214. It's called a certification of military service. It's specifically made by the National Archives. It has a mark on it that shows that it's valid, and it can be used in lieu of a DD-214 as if it was. It shows your years of service. It shows what branch you were. It shows your rank, your service number, as well as your discharge dates. If you don't have your DD-214, there's multiple ways that you can get it. You could do it yourself through the website. You could mail in by filling out this long, arduous form that we're all used to who are in the military. You know, paperwork runs everything, right? Or you can just come to our office. I'm happy to submit a request for a DD-214 through the Congressional Liaison at the National Archives. You would fill out, yes, a form. But that form lets us submit the request, so you don't have to fill out the long paperwork and try and remember your dates. Our office, we have two that I work out of. One's located in Richmond, and one's located in Walnut Creek. The Walnut Creek office is right across from the AAA building in the little, I believe it's called the Pleasant Hill Center, or Civic Contra Costa Center, I believe, right next to the BART station there. The Richmond office is right above the Richmond City Hall. I know a lot of you have traveled from locations outside of this direct area. Congressional offices have somebody like me in majority of the congressional offices. So you could reach out to your congressional member and you could ask them, hi, I would like your assistance with receiving my DD-214, and they could submit it. Every office does things differently, so I want to make sure you guys are aware. I'm not sure the exact members that you may have and how their office does things. I could only speak directly towards how Congressman DeSaulnier's office does it and the process that I follow. If you reach out to the office saying that you need a DD-214, I'll have you fill out a privacy release form. I'll submit it, and within a month and a half, unless there's no issues such as it being burned in the fire, you should have your DD-214, and there is zero cost whatsoever. The only time any costs are incurred, and it's never from our office, is if you request for your entire military records and they're over a certain number of pages, and that just is determined on what your time in service was. The second, I'm sorry, sir. Your full military record. You're basically your entire military time in service, your entire career, from your enlistment paperwork to your discharge paperwork. Each one of those are about 100 pages. Yeah, that you can get all of that, yes. But that one they will charge you for. That one they will charge you for. That's true. So after a certain time frame, they no longer maintain the full record, but they do maintain a certain percentage of the record, such as the DD-214s or discharge documentation. Yes. So if you came and requested for a DD-214 from our office, but if you wanted the whole military record, we could submit for that as well. The only time I've ever seen that done, they submitted a follow-up form, and then I have to provide that to you, and then you have to submit it on your own, and with basically the payment for the amount of they're charging you for paper, depending on how large your record is. The second aspect that I was asked to speak about, it follows on from the DD-214. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, so the VA is kind of broken down into three major parts. You have your healthcare system, such as the clinic right here in Martinez, the benefits administration where you file for your benefits, and then the National Cemeteries Administration.